The Ukrainian Armed Forces have broken through another section of the front on the Russian border in the Kursk region, where exactly is still unknown. The footage published by the Ukrainian military shows air assault forces entering enemy territory and conducting their first battles in the border zone, destroying a Russian stronghold.
Units of the 95th Separate Polisian Air Assault Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces have broken through one of the sections of the Russian border. This is already the second successful operation to break through the Russian border since the beginning of the operation in the Kursk region of the Russian Federation. From the message of the Air Assault Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Telegram.
The previous breakthrough of the border of the Kursk region was reported on September the 13th by the Horne Group unit of the 116th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. UAV operators showed how Ukrainian equipment break through the so-called Dragon's Teeth barriers. To strengthen the defense, which was held mainly by conscripts, the Russian command is transferring units from the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine to Kursk, not only from the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions, but also from the Donetsk and Luhansk regions.
It has already shown some results. It has slowed down the Russians and forced them to move some of their forces to Kursk on the order of 40,000 troops. Already our fighters in the east say that they are being battered less frequently. Unfortunately, many of them have their eyes closed. They don't want to see or hear anything, but some Russian people could not help but notice how Putin did not run to defend his own land. No, instead he wants to first and foremost look after himself and to finish off Ukraine. His people are not a priority for him. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, president of Ukraine, in an interview with The New Yorker.
In addition to units from the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine, the Russian command sent reserves to the Kursk region, which was supposed to strengthen the Russian group in Ukraine.
Strategic reserves currently tied down near Kharkiv and in the Kursk direction, bogged down in defensive battles with Ukrainian troops. These strategic reserves cannot reach other directions on the front, so if we say that Ukraine was able to tie down Russian reserves thanks to the Kursk operation, then this is indeed true.
In mid-September, the Russian army attempted to counterattack along the western edge of the Ukrainian positions in the Kursk region. The Ukrainian armed forces stabilized the situation and stopped the enemy's advance, said Alexei Dmitrashkovsky, a representative of the Ukrainian military commandant's office in the Kursk region on September the 18th. But the army of the aggressor country may try to attack again, they say in the West.
Putin is pursuing a strategy of prolonged war, relying on numerical superiority to slowly destroy Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is trying to shorten the war by returning it to Russian soil. He took a calculated risk to strengthen Ukraine's position, and this, in his opinion, could be the beginning of negotiations, perhaps next year.
Ukraine's unexpected offensive into Russian territory is perhaps the most daring advance in years of the war, added Mark Milley. In order to drive out the Ukrainian armed forces from its territory, Russia will have to transfer significantly more units to Kursk. This, according to military analysts, could reduce Russian pressure in the Donbass. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Valeria Nekipelova, UATV News.